Hi there, today what we're going to do is I'm going to run through the major scale. I'm going to do a C major scale, and I'm going to use my left hand, and we're going to run through all 7 modes, and you're going to get a chance to sort of hear what they sound like. In the key of C, if we have our tonic is basically our root note, our bass note. That's where our center of tonality is, all right? So that is C major. Has this flat 7 here. The flat 7, like, what shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning? Has this flat 2, right? I'm still using the C major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, but my center of tonality is now on the E. That's all these modes are. Kind of a Keith Jarrett sort of a sound there. I'm just going to play the same, anything in C, all the white notes, but I'm putting an E in the bass. So this is an example of Phrygian mode right here. Kind of has a snaky sort of Keith Jarrett sound. Basically, it's the sound of a 7th chord, so it's basically it's that sort of a mystical sound. Just imagine a sitar hanging on the G down here. You're still using all the notes in the key of C, so if I just play a C scale, so there's your right. That's MixoLydian mode. Now in songwriting MixoLydian mode, you would start, let's say, a progression like tonal center is the 5 chord, right? Here's an example of A natural minor, which is pretty much Aolian mode, which is, you've heard this a million times. It's basically, once again, if you understand relativity, for instance, that the key of A minor is relative to the key of C. By being relative, it just means the same kind of thing. You're in the mode. You have a tonal center, which is your 6th degree of the scale, right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. And you're going to hang on the La note, the A note, and you're going to play, and all of your chords will come from that. This is the sound of Aolian mode. This is the sound of Locrian mode. It's a very strange mode. Keith Jarrett is probably the only person now, actually, that I can think of that might use it, but there's the scale, right? So we're just holding on to this T note. So like Phrygian mode, we have this flat second degree, right? So it's really kind of a mystical sound, but this time when you get to the 5, it's a flat 5. So this is a really unstable key because every stable chord or triad needs a 5th. The 5th is the grounding. So if we have this unstable thing right here, it's the tritone. Now the tritone wants to completely resolve back to C. The Locrian mode is going to be just weird. So, but as far as this is the sound of Locrian mode. But once again, because that is a diminished triad, it's extremely unstable. Okay, and we're back. This is the sound I'm going to do. Playing the C major scale, and I have the C note in the left hand. Now for Dorian mode, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Check this out. I'm going to go. Has the flat 7, right? Do, re, mi, fa, so, la, te, do. So we have the sound. That is the sound of Dorian mode. All right, Phrygian mode. Once again, we're going to keep the key of C. We're only using the natural notes. So instead of grounding ourselves on C, we're going to ground our listener's ear. The new tonic is now the note E, which is mi, right? So I'm still going to play. These are all natural notes. I'm playing a C scale in my right hand. Phrygian mode. All right, here's Lydian mode. This is the classic. Lydian has this sharp 4. There with this sharp 4, that is the classic Lydian sound. MixoLydian mode is the sound of the 7th chord for the most part. So in songwriting, MixoLydian mode, good example would be where you're still in the key of C, right? Normally you would go, here's your 1, here's your 4, 5, and you kind of resolve back to 1. Well, this time you're starting on the 5, which is the G, and now you're playing the 4 to the 1 to the 5. And then if you end up on this G, you feel like you're home. So that's the way you can use it in songwriting, or to understand, for instance, just because the chord the first chord of a song does not define the key. So for instance, since I'm in the key of C and this song is based around the G chord and the G is the 1 and that feels like home plate, right? So 4, 1, back to the 5, but it feels like home. And that's very important for you to understand, because that's what modality pretty much is. It's just we're shifting our listeners' perspective on where the tonic is, where home base is. So that's really helpful in songwriting. Aolian mode. Now, not to be confused with minor, because like A minor would have the dominant 5, which leads back to the 1. We're in natural minor, so we have A minor is your 1, D minor is your 4, E minor is your 5, and A minor. So in Aolian mode, you're basing your listener's ear on this A minor in the key of C, right? We're 6th degree of the scale, so this is the sound of Locrian mode. We have our listener's ear on the T note, okay? So that's the 7th degree of the scale. This is the sound of Locrian. This is an example of Dorian mode, simply playing a C scale, and I'm playing a D in my left hand. That's the sound. Now I'm just going to move my finger. This is the sound of Phrygian mode, simply playing a C scale in my right hand, and I've got my listener's ear on the Mi note, which is E. 3rd degree of the scale to the 3rd degree of the scale. We're still just doing nothing but C, right? Lydian mode, simply playing a C scale, and I have, hear that? Sharp 4 right there, so here's Do, Re, Mi, Fi. So, classic New Age sound for that is so there's Lydian mode. This is an example of MixoLydian mode. This is the way it sounds. I'm simply playing a C scale, and I've got my listener's ear oriented to the 5th degree. The 5th degree of the scale of a C scale is G, right? This is a classic MixoLydian progression. Normally in the key of C, this is the 5 to the 4 to the 1. if we're in the key of G, that would be the flat 7, and that would be the 4. But we are in MixoLydian mode. So there's MixoLydian mode, classic sound. You can use that in songwriting. This is the classic A natural minor, natural minor. That's what natural minor sounds like. Now I'm using a lot of spread voicings and arpeggiations. Right, so if you'd like to learn that, please subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to be uploading videos twice a week at least. So hang with me, all right? Bye, everybody.